Have you ever suffered from depression, anxiety? Have you watched the world go by and felt empty and lonely? Have you had moments where you considered ending it? Our courageous guest, Neil, joins us. He's experienced all of these depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. Believing he had tried everything to help himself, he closed his eyes to the world. Then, one day, for some unknown reason, he spoke. He spoke for the very first time about what was going on inside, and this was his first step towards the other side. He even took it a step further to help everyone out there stay tuned. He created a book with the same title, and it identifies the mindset that makes it difficult for us to change. Drawing on his own battles with his signature humor, his message is one of hope despite all. Today, you'll learn his firsthand testimonial, insight to why people find it difficult to ask for help, and so much more. What stops them? Why can't they stick to their troubles? He's going to help us all so much. And be sure to stick around to the spotlight story at the halfway point, as we have someone who courageously shared their story and empowers others to move past suicidal thoughts he once faced. We're going to dive into an article titled 5 Steps to Overcoming Suicidal Thoughts, and we'll get Neil's take on it. Neil, thank you for stopping by the show.
Vincent, thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Why don't you kick us off here, Neil? What does mental health mean to you?
Now it means a lot, something very different to many moons ago, or even when I was going through my struggles. Now mental health is just something we all got to keep on top of, like our physical health, you know? We have good days, we have bad days. We have good mental health, we have bad mental health, and we can turn that around. We can turn the negative, the positive, the negative into a positive by just finding tools like we do with physical health. We exercise, we find ways in order to find our better physique in a sense. And we can do the exact same when it comes to our mental health. Years ago, when I was struggling, I didn't think so. When you just mentioned mental health, just mental health, neither good nor bad, you presume that it was all bad, right? It was all weakness. It was all, not understanding. It was all fear. That's what it was. Now it's just something that we all should be in tune with. That's what it is.
At Tampa Counseling and Wellness, we want to remind you that it's okay to not be okay. Reaching out for support and asking for a little extra help can be overwhelming, but everyone deserves a safe space to heal. We're so honored to be that space for Florida residents. If you want to learn more about our services or you'd like to set up a free consultation with one of our clinicians, you can call or text us at 813-520-2807. We're looking forward to growing with you.
I agree with you, and I love how you started us off there, where we have a physical health, we have a mental health. These are things I always try to emphasize. We break our arm, we take the time, we heal. Mm-hmm. When we're not doing well inside, a lot of us keep it stuck inside of us for many reasons, stigma associated. Some feel shame, some just don't want to speak about it. But I think you and I can both agree things get a whole lot easier once you start speaking about it.
Yeah. But that's the key. And I mentioned that in my book. What was the point that things started to change? And it was the day I talked. It took me 21 years though, right? 21 years I hid behind this mask. But what I want to just qualify with that is us revealing something which nobody knows about us, which we don't understand fully ourselves. It's hard for us to explain this, something we probably don't understand, to somebody that won't get it at all because they're not experiencing it either. So there could be a miscommunication. And that first time we talk is very, very important, that we have the right person in front of us. So it's easy to tell us to talk. It's very difficult to do it, but there are many ways we can do it. And what I will say, I made this mistake. Once I talked, I felt this weight lifted. It was incredible, instantaneous. I'm free. Oh my God, is that all I have to do? Geez, sure, look. In Ireland, we'd say we're grand now. There's nothing wrong with us. And off I went. But obviously, over a few days, things unravel again. What you need to do is you talk, you continuously talk. People are not going to get sick of you. You are not going to get sick of talking because it's going to help you so much. And one thing I will say is people would rather hear what you have to say than never get the opportunity to hear it or help you again. Okay?
Yes.
So that is give them a chance, give people a chance to help you.
I love that. Give people a chance. You never know what people are going through on any given day. And I try to always remember that we do our best to help the people closest to us, help those not even closest as I could say in our networks. I'm trying to grow this series to help people around the world, but we have to make it clear that no matter how much great advice you and I can give, it all starts from within. You have to want to help yourself. There's a round where you can, I'm sure we've all had a friend or a family member we've tried helping, but it doesn't stick because they just don't want to move forward with it. You're doing such great work to shed light on this, Neil. So thank you for kicking us off. Everyone, it's been a great start to a mental health break. Vincent A. Lancy here. I'm excited to connect around the globe here with Neil. He's got a very, very inspiring story to share, a true testament to not giving up. You've heard a little bit about his story so far when he first started sharing his story as well. I mentioned he took it a step further with this book. Let's talk a little bit more about that, Neil, because I know it could help our audience so much. Obviously, a preview to Writing with Authors, everyone who's listening on.
Yeah, who would have thought I'll be telling my story, writing a book, you know? It's something I never saw a future for myself. I didn't think I'd be here in front of you right now, as in I wouldn't be here in front of anyone right now. I wouldn't be around anymore. But now I've written a book about my life. So the idea behind the book is I tell stories. I speak with companies and I've spoken internationally, which is great. And I love finding ways of connecting with my audience. And I tell stories from childhood to adulthood, but stories that you can relate to, even if you're not struggling with your mental health. Because the idea is I want to bring those who aren't struggling either into it to see what someone is going through. So we all get a better understanding so we can address stigma by you addressing stigma yourself, by not being able to judging and stuff. So the idea with the book is that I bring you through a story. I'm not preaching from a platform. Okay, I'm in the trenches still with you. I still struggle. I'm not going to tell you, you read this book, you overcome your mental health. If anybody tells you they can help you overcome your mental health, they're lying to you. What I can help you do is effectively manage it. And that's the idea behind the book and my talks. I can help you with tools and strategies and action steps that I've used, but also you can adapt to use yourself. And that's why in the book, I have sections throughout called Neil's Notes. And Neil's Notes is if I'm talking to you, it's very conversational in style. And then Neil's Notes, hey, you know what? Put down the book there. Let's try this. Like the first exercise is let's close your eyes and think of a memory. Because if you think of a happy memory in your past, you can't think of a negative at the same time. So simple things like this that you can introduce into your day, but you can adapt. And that's why I have a QR code in the book as well, that you scan it and you get an exercise, all the Neil's Notes in exercises, so you continuously do it. I don't want this to be a book that you read once. How many books have you on your shelf, Vincent? And that we read motivation, inspiration, we put it away. I don't want that. I'm sick and tired of those books myself. This is a book I want you to refer to again and again and again. What did he say here? What did he say here? You start your journey once we pick up the book. That's the idea.
I love it. Very, very proud of you, man. That's great work that you've done. Similar to the books I put out, Mr. Lanty Talks Mental Health. I want to be that back pocket resource just like you. Keep going back to that book. Reread it. I have exercises as well to help people stay engaged. I think that I am looking forward, I should say, to seeing what's next from you. I definitely see the ambition through the computer right now, the passion for mental health. And I think especially as men, that's so powerful because of how far back we were. And I bring this up almost every time there's a male guest on the show. In the Spotlight story today, we're going to be going over an article, 5 Steps to Overcoming Suicidal Thoughts. But for one, we've done Kevin Love, the NBA basketball player. He shares his mental health and he discusses and highlights how he was taught to mask his emotions, mask his feelings, because he's a man when he grew up. And then now it's seeing things full circle. You're seeing people with platforms speak on their mental health. People like us just destigmatizing any chance we get, helping normalize the conversation around mental health. We have a long way to go, but, and I first heard this from a guest, Corey Hirsch, on here, it takes a village in the mental health community. We're doing our part, and all together, soon enough, mental health will be a normalized conversation. So now let's hype into one more piece here, Neil, before we dive into the spotlight story. What are your favorite things to do for your mental health, whether short-term or long-term?
So I have a routine in the morning and the evening. I bookend my day, it's called. Okay. So it's like bookends on a shelf that I know if I can control, kind of manage what happens in the morning to myself, and I can unwind the day myself. In the middle, not so much, because we interact with other people and they will have effects on us. But we can always start it and finish it the way we would like to, or try to. So in the morning, what I really like to do, but it took me a long time. In 2014, I spoke about my mental health. I didn't gravitate towards meditation until about 5 or 6 years later. I wasn't ready for it. But I started it my way. And my way was initially having a cup of coffee in the morning, looking out into the sunshine, just by myself. Then I tried mindfulness. I tried Kundalini yoga. And then I found transcendental meditation, which stuck for me. So I tried different things. They all benefited me in some way, but I found the one then that really resonated with me. And a lot of people will say around meditation, it doesn't work, thoughts in my head, but that's the idea. You're supposed to have loads of thoughts in your head. Meditation is there just to release those thoughts, you know? So meditation, I love it. I do 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening. And trust me, I couldn't even do 3 minutes when I started. And 20 minutes goes so quickly. I nearly get angry that it goes so quickly that I want more time. It's incredible. It just really calms me and disconnects me from an immediate reaction. It gives me that pause, that calm. It's incredible. Find the one for you. I recommend something, Vincent will recommend something, but you find the one for you. You explore. That's the beauty about life. You keep exploring things. Exercise is key. I've always exercised, but I know if I know myself. And you said about acceptance before. Acceptance is key, and then talking, that's key. But knowing yourself, what works for you. If your friends go running in the morning, you go running with them, but you don't enjoy it, stop it. It's nice to be with your friends, but stop the exercise, because it's actually not going to benefit you, because mentally you're just not in it. Find something that does. I love to work out my own. I used to have a fitness business, so I'm lucky I know how to do routines, but I just love working out my own. I live in Cyprus now at the moment. I moved from Ireland, and I go to the beach and I do a workout. Or I'm big into mountain running, so I love going off into the mountains and just losing that, you know. So exercise is key. I know if I don't exercise for 3 days, my anxiety is heightened.
Oh,
so
my
I know
God.
myself.
Me
you
too,
know?
Neil. Me too.
Yeah, totally. And I feel it in my feet, right? My feet get this frustration. I have to leave this energy out. Yeah.
Everything I start overthinking. I start putting myself in these terrible thoughts. And just like you, exercise is a major key for me. You've heard him say things like yoga, meditation, and like many others, I had unrealistic expectations. My first time meditating, I thought it was this magical potion drug. Poof, I'm gonna feel great. And then you realize it is the ability to separate your thoughts. The car is driving by, you know it's driving by, recognize it's driving by.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it is, you know. And then a very important thing is connecting. So like I coach people as well, and always I say connect with one person, new person a week. It can be by text or call. So I'll connect with someone, have a chat with someone, even by text or by phone call, that I haven't chatted to in a while. And sometimes you have to push, especially as a man, we push ourselves to do that. But it's very important. We are social creatures, you know, and we need that connection. Really important. But, you know, and we hear people say ground yourself. So what I mean by grounding for me is, you know, if you're busy with work, close your laptop, stop what you're doing. This is very important. Stop what you're doing and do something else. Get outside, go for a little walk. And what I usually do is I throw on music, but the music I put on is a song that means something for me. It taps into a memory. So we used to go to Chicago during the summers working from college, you know, working on the building sites. And every year you have that tune, the music tune for that season. And one day it was, one year it was Irish Schoolgirl Dolls. So that's on my tune. So when I put that on, it just fills me with, that emotion. I know those memories are filtering. So I walk through the park or down a road, I have the music playing, and I look around me. I see what's there. And I think, you know, when we went through those 2 years of hard times, I think a lot of people went out walking and they noticed things in their community that they would never have seen before.
Right.
That's what you do when you go walking. Watch the squirrel, watch the dog, watch the people, do this, stay in it. and listen to the music and feel good. So there's some little things that I like to do.
I love it. And thank you for offering so many. Everyone out there, I challenge you to give at least one a try. You don't have to do it for an hour. Start baby steps, a few minutes, and then work your way up. Like anything in life, I think that is a great way to approach it. Less overwhelming, I should say. But I can't think of a better time to hop into this week's Spotlight story. We have had an all-star guest so far, and I look forward to the value he's going to bring you all with this week's Spotlight story. Again, you can follow along in the show description. I'll have the link in there. 5 steps to overcoming suicidal thoughts. I'm going to go over the 5 tips, talk about them, and then bring on our guest of honor. Number 1, remove yourself from danger. 2, slow your breathing. 3, refocus your attention. 4, reach out. And 5, remind yourself of recovery. I'm going to go ahead and start with the refocus your attention because it's got a lot in this area. There are many ways to do this, and some will work better for you than others. We've heard that all day. The goal is to work towards shifting your attention away from your negative thoughts or hurting yourself onto something else. It can be tough at first, but the more you practice, the more you'll be able to distance yourself from these unwanted thoughts. It dives into visualizations, using your senses, and muscle relaxations. Focusing on breathing can help, especially when combined with visualizations. Imagine your lungs filling up with air, your diaphragm rising and falling. The more detail you add, the better. If you're counting your breaths, you can also try to visualize writing out the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. For some, imagining yourself in a safe and calming space, being with someone you love, or looking to your faith can help. Now let's look at using your senses. Close your eyes for a few moments and then open them. Focus your attention on whatever is around you. Try to describe as much detail as possible, the texture of the ground, the colors on the walls, the sounds you hear. Imagine you're writing a scene in a book and be as detailed as possible. The more senses you use, the more you will be able to shift your focus away from painful thoughts. And then muscle relaxations. Often, when you feel overwhelmed, your muscle starts tightening without realizing it. Shoulders or jaw may flex, clenching your fists. Focus on relaxing your muscles. Start with your head and slowly try to relax each muscle group, working your way down. Face, jaw, neck, shoulders, back, arms, legs, calves. You can use your hands to massage your neck or shoulders as well. I love that. So much great value I just learned in there. I'm going to touch on one more before bringing back on Neil. Slow your breathing. Suicidal thoughts can be scary, and it's easy to get overwhelmed. Slowing your breathing helps reduce your heart rate while also shifting your attention away from whatever thoughts you're having. Take a few deep inhales and exhales to regain control of your breath. 4 seconds in. Hold to 4, 4 seconds out, hold to 4, repeat. If 4 seconds is too long, take shorter time and try to work your way up. Neil, what are some takeaways from this article, my friend?
Yeah, and they're all very true. And they're all simple things that we should be doing in our life anyway. All simple things we should be doing in our life. And we tend not to, because when we feel good, we let these things slip by. But as I said, very much flipping your thoughts and changing your thought process is possible. As I was saying, walking in the park there, they're saying, looking around you, taking things in. As you said, write a scene for a book kind of idea. You know, that's very interesting and very true. You can change. You don't have to be stuck in that thought process. You can change it by doing simple actions. And the breathing is essential. You know, if you exercise, and I used to coach people, you exercise and they don't breathe and they're out of breath and they can't lift as much as they thought they could or lift as many reps. And the reason is because we're not working with our breath, with our body.
Yes.
We're trying to rush it, and then we're out of breath after. Instead of, I always describe it in running, the first 8 minutes is the toughest with running because you're trying to get your breath. And you're going to give up. You're like, geez, I can't do this. No, forget this. I can't even, you expect me to run 10K and I can't even run 8 minutes. And then once the 8 minutes go and you get your breathing, you settle into it, you have your pace, you run your 10K. It's the same thing when you're anxious or when you're low. Get your breathing to calm you. Just sit in your chair. It doesn't have to be anything extreme. You can just close your laptop, sit in your chair, be on a bus, stop the car, pull it over, and just concentrate on your breathing.
I love it.
As you said, you can count it out, or it's just simple as in and out. So these tips are very important. And with the suicidal thoughts, like I used to have suicidal thoughts, suicidal ideation, my thoughts were like up to countless times a day, 15 times a day. It wasn't once a day, it was countless. It wasn't until I was 36 years of age and my counselor said to me, no, Neil, not everybody has suicidal thoughts. It was so ingrained in my thought process, I thought everybody experienced it. So what I will say to you, one thing as well we don't look at is when you're low, when you're anxious, when you have these thoughts, there's something not right in your life. So you're living a certain way, maybe your work, maybe your family, something's not right. And we tend not to look at that. We tend to just have this experience and not deal with what's maybe behind it. But again, sometimes you have to focus on the immediate, which is the lows, the anxious, the thoughts. So with the thoughts, if you're having those thoughts, there is it's not normal. It's not normal to have those thoughts. It's normal to have thoughts for us because we went through it, but it's not a normal thing in society. So there's something up, and we have those thoughts because we tend to think we have tried everything to help ourselves. And guys, we haven't. Truly, we haven't. All right. So work your way back. What haven't you done? What could you do? Explore that. Explore those options. Suicide is never an option. Trust me, I've had people close to me, unfortunately, take their lives. And my first friend took his life in 2013. When he took his life, do you know what my emotion was? Jealousy. I was jealous because I saw all the pain it caused me and all his family. And even when I saw that, he was free and I wasn't. My cousin took his life in 2019. I had talked in 2014, so I was on my process of trying to help myself. My emotion wasn't jealousy anymore. It was just pure sadness because I had worked on myself and I knew that he could have found a different way like I had. Mm-hmm. But it was just that bit too late for him. So guys, never contemplate it. Like, you are worth a place in this life. I am worth a place in this life. And there's Vincent, there's me, there's people out there to help you. Okay.
Love that. So inspirational, Neil. Thank you for such a thorough response to that article and for the courage to share your story today throughout the episode. We're not done with Neil just yet. Before we let him go, Neil, what's one piece of advice you can offer to all of our mental health champions out there who may be struggling?
Life is a struggle. It is a struggle, even when you're in a good place, but you got to find the struggle that's for you. Mm-hmm. Okay. Sometimes we're on the wrong path and we're fighting with struggles, battling with struggles that aren't for us. Okay. So the one thing I would say, right, guys, and we don't do this. We're humans. We don't do this. If you change nothing, nothing changes. So change something. Okay. So you got to do something. And if you take one thing from this, it could be like a 2-minute meditation or a 5-minute exercise. As you said, it doesn't have to be an hour. 5 minutes is better than no minutes. Do something for yourself, or talk, or contact us, do whatever you have to do.
I love it. Just moving forward for a brighter day. Find what works for you. Neil's been great inspiration, as I mentioned, all day. If you change nothing, nothing changes. That's, it's such a great thing to say because it's just baby steps. Don't get overwhelmed, but focusing on the end goal. Work your way to a checkpoint, a goal. Neil's notes, plug his book again real quick. Before we find out where to find his book, where to find more about him, Neil, the floor is yours. Is there anything you want to talk about relating to mental health?
We hear that mental health will affect 1 in 4 people. And at the moment, it may not be affecting you. But somewhere down the line, you don't know if a trauma or I'm a big believer in traumas. For me, I think it's traumas that we haven't addressed through our lives, right, create this pressure point and this lowness and anxieties and thought processes. So it may affect you, but there is someone close to you. We hear 1 in 4. I talked about this at the World Health Organization. We hear 1 in 4, and I respectfully disagree with that. I could never have been a statistic. I couldn't have been a statistic because I hid behind a mask for over 21 years and nobody knew. Nobody, until I revealed it. So if I wasn't a statistic, there are many more like me out there. So I think it's easily 1 in 2 people at some stage in their life will experience it. So that means there is someone close to you in whatever degree, be it your family, your friends, your gym buddies, your teams, your colleagues. There is someone you know that is struggling. And what can you do to help them? You can ask them, are they okay? You can ask them, are they suicidal? Are they depressed? It's not going to put it inside their head. It's already there. Trust me.
Yep.
It's going to just twig something with them. They mightn't talk to you, but it might twig something with them that, you know what, someone has noticed me, and they may talk to someone else down the line. Okay. So there are people around you struggling. You may be struggling. You can do something about it. You can help them. You can help yourself.
Share your story. You will feel better, and you will find some great people to put in your inner circle. Neil, I want to thank you again for taking the time to connect with me from around the world. Where'd you say you just landed to? You relocated to?
So I'm from Ireland, but I've lived for the last 2 years in Cyprus.
In Cyprus. All right.
Yeah.
Where can everybody find your book, find more about you?
So as I said, I don't wear a mask anymore. So everything you see is Neil Kelders. Okay. So neilkelders.com is my website. There's a book page on that. And the book is on Amazon in the US, in the UK, in Europe, all Amazon sites, as well as any other good platforms, Barnes & Noble, etc. for the book. And I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn as Neil Kelders as well. So
I love it. Thank you for sharing all that. Everyone, be sure to go check out more about him and be on the lookout for his Writing with Authors episode. Not sure when either of those are airing exactly, but one of them is going to come first, obviously. So be sure to check it out for all things Neil, and the next show will be on the way. I am at Vincent A. Lancey on all social media, and be sure to check out Vincent A. Lancey on YouTube. We have a lot of great content coming out there. The show is hashtag A Mental Health Break, at A Mental Health Break, to find all things mental health. And until next Tuesday, we are signing off from Tampa to Cyprus. Neil, thank you so much.
Thanks, Vincent. Cheers.